Today, I'm going to teach you how to think and play like a pro. This is going to come from my own experience in the game, guys. I have 16,000 hours inside of Counter-Strike 2. I've traveled the world. I'm going to be over in Saudi Arabia soon after you watch this video, competing for Team USA. I want you to gain these opportunities. I want you to learn and get better. So today, we are going to walk through some very important concepts. Make sure you stay to the end of the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Why are pros so hard to kill inside of Counter-Strike 2? Guys, of course they are talented, of course they are skilled, and you are going to develop those skills along the way. But something that they do so well inside this game that a lot of the guides channels, all the people, you know, that post these tips and tricks aren't going to tell you is their positioning is absolutely unreal, right? And why is their positioning so good? Because they give themselves room to breathe. They give themselves options. They can branch out and do so many different things based on what you are doing. If you're playing against a pro and you throw one look at them, they're going to be able to adapt and adjust. It could be something like if an opper is posted on Cat here and you flash them off, you do something good like a flash. Oh, and you know, a bad player, that might be the worst thing in the world because they get flustered and they sit here and they put themselves in a box. Today, I'm going to teach you how to not put yourself in a box. But before we get into the rest of the video, I have to give you a message about how to get some good looking CS2 skins.
Thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Skins Monkey. They are one of the greatest and easiest to use CS2 trading sites out there. You can swap out the skins you do not like for brand new ones that are so much more fresh. Even skins that are trade locked can be secured by adding them to your backpack. The greatest thing about the site is that you can buy skins for so much cheaper with a 35% deposit bonus when you use my code, COJO. Make sure to check out the freebie section where you can get a free skin just by completing tasks. On top of the bonuses, you also get a $5 bonus when clicking the link in the description.
All right, guys. So it doesn't matter if you're opping, rifling, pistols, whatever. If you want to play like a pro, you've got to be dynamic and branch out depending on what is in front of you. I use this Cat example because this is so easy to understand because we have one corridor here. But like I said, you know, it could be a rifler even. It doesn't even have to be an opper. The op is irrelevant here. You could be a rifler, right? And you get flashed off the angle and a bad player will fall back to this position. Well, a pro is going to, while they're blind, try to knife out and get back to a different spot, like maybe here, right? And then they're going to play here. If you flash them off again and use more util, they're just going to drop off and throw a molly. And what are they going to do? They're not just going to sit here. They're going to then go to their next spot, their next power position. You need to establish power positions, and a lot of that is going to come from game sense, but one of the cheat codes is to watch professional matches, see what they're doing, see what positions they like to play, right? You know, one power position as an opper, and I'm going to use a lot of op examples because I am a professional opper, is this game helper position or car position, right? Why is this so good? Because when they're scaling out Cat, we can shoot here, we can post on another angle, shoot again, post on another angle, and play the game like that. And did you see what I did that whole time? I'm always just repositioning, reposition. That's so valuable no matter if you're rifling, if you're doing opping, whatever it is. And guys, pros are so good at staying dynamic. Say they do go down to CT here and instead of going long side, they want to go mid to B. One thing I will always calling is for my teammate to boost me on boxes here. Okay, I'm playing mid to B now. You know, I'm worried about that threat. Now I'm on top of these boxes so that if they do smoke even good mid to B, even a good mid to B smoke, I'm just head down here. I'm waiting for them to come out. They're running. Boom, they're coming out. I'm spamming the edges of their smoke and I'm killing them. I'm not trying to play behind the game. I'm trying to have these established routes and branches that I can fall into based on what the opponent is showing me. It sounds hard. It sounds complicated, like, oh dude, how do I know what they're gonna do? And how do I know? You don't. You have to establish your game though, and you have to play for what you think is going to happen. It's not always going to be that way. Pros can't see into the future, right? Like they're not looking into the future. They don't have a crystal ball, but what they do have, guys, is the ability to fall back to these paths. And you know, they make really cool plays too. One cool play that pros make is they'll sit on these boxes, and when that smoke comes in, what are they doing? They're jumping up here, and I'm trolling, I'm getting stuck, and they're sitting in the smoke as the T's start to throw flashes, all these things, and now they're pushing behind the T's and making these dynamic plays. They're not just thinking of these things in the moment. You know, so some of it is flow state, 100%, but they're also used to doing this from time and time again. Guys, you can't get better at the game if you only do one thing. If you're a Cat player and you get blind and you want to go back to this spot and you play here, sure, you might get better, you might improve at this position, but you are quite literally putting yourself in a literal and figurative box here. You are in a box right here. So just don't put yourself in a box and give yourself room to rotate around and flow. And you might say, well, Kojo, I'm an anchor player. How am I supposed to rotate and flow if I'm anchoring B site on Dust 2? And that's a very fair and good point, right? So if you're an anchor player, sometimes you do have to put yourself in a little bit of a box, and the box is going to be in the entire site, right? Don't put yourself in a small box, right? So, you know, if you're back here, this actually is a powerful position. This is a little bit of a caveat to what I've been saying, because you can't fall back here really, right? There's no fallback, but this is a power position, right? This is a very strong place to be, especially with like an AUG or an op. But you know, if you're not in a power position, don't just start the round in the box. Don't necessarily just start the round car, unless you have a setup, right? If you have a setup where that makes sense, where, you know, someone's spotting for you, taking contact and then flashing in front, of course, right? And that's where we can do team plays and do these things together. But if you are the solo anchor player, again, give yourself some breathing room. One of the coolest things pros will do is they're playing on this side of the site. And what are they doing? If someone walks out on them, they have the advantage in the fight, right? People are pre-aiming, as they're coming out here, they're pre-aiming these angles, right? And then their crosshair doesn't pre-aim that. Their crosshair goes usually to pre-aim lower this site, right? Or window. And it's a really good angle. And the cool thing about playing a spot like this is if you are here and they start throwing nades and execing out, you just drop your smoke in front of you, maybe throw a flash behind yourself, and your job is, again, not to put yourself in a box permanently, but to buy time for your teammates to do some team stuff with you, you know, Dust 2 basics. And this isn't going to be at low level, I understand that, I get that, guys, but teammates are going to flash over you site, right? And this is where if you queue with people and you can send them these videos and learn together, sure, you're a face level 3 and your solo queue teammates aren't going to flash for you, but if you can establish even one friend to do these things with you, now you have a smoke on site, flashes are coming in, these guys are eating the flashes, right? I'm going to show you from their perspective, even a bad flash like that, what this looks like. They contact you, oh dude, he's backside, yo, he's backside. Okay, we can't scale, and you know, more flashes come in, maybe 3 or 4, like, oh shoot, you know, like, and now we're blind. That's just high level CS, right? Sure, you're in a box, you are in a box on B site, but you got your first kill, they're starting to throw nades, you smoke down on site, and now we are just staying alive. You might sit back here and hold an angle like this. Now we're in a different power position, right? And if you ever get flustered, ever get blind or something, the worst scenario, you can just get into the smoke and like do something ratty like this. Sure, they might spam you, they might nade you, they might do these things. That's CS, right? You're an anchor player. You don't have the most glamorous role. You don't have that many options. But if we can start thinking about the game like this, we will be so good. And guys, if you are an anchor player, the beautiful thing is you don't have to start the round back on site or car or back there. Guys, I see more and more now setups where people start here and they have a smoke, right? They always have a smoke to get out if they are in a box like this, right? Essentially, when we're on this side, we are in this box if things get hard, right? But I see more and more people either jiggling an off angle on this side, or they just sit here with an M4, you know, posted on a very favorable angle, and I guess don't play too close, and they shoot, and if the fight gets out of control, they'll smoke, and now boom, tons of smoked, and we wait from the spam, throw nades or whatever, and we just get out and play our next positions, right? So more and more I do see anchor players playing up and being a pain for the T's to play against, right? It's so annoying when you're going to contact B as like 3 or 4 players and the guy already spots you before your team is even rounding the corner, right? He spots you here versus you're walking up here and he spots you on site. So don't be afraid to be dynamic too. And you know, we talk about that time and time again on the channel. But this is genuinely what pros are doing that you're not doing. You're not thinking about these plans. You're just playing the game in front of you. I want you to play the game that will be too. I want you to visualize. I want you to have these plans, these thoughts, and not just sit there and hope that they don't kill you. I don't want you to hope. I want you to take things into your own hands and be proactive. Pros are so hard to kill because they have these game plans. They have fallback plans. They know what they're doing. They have all these different things that they fall back to. You guys can do that too, and you will be better. You're not going to be a pro right now, but you will be better, and you'll start to go down that path to become a pro. So if you want to be a pro, I want to teach you. I want you to learn. Go ahead and check out all the videos on my channel. I provide so much good content for beginners, intermediate, advanced, and even some pro players. I'm sure people can find some value out there. So I'd love to have you along the way for my own personal journey, and I'd love to see updates for your journey. So let me know down below where you're at. What face level are you? Get on face if you're not, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.